The following podcast is a production of Hardly Awesome Studios in association with the network. Find us at bicbp-radio.com. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Well, not really back. Welcome to a new sub-series on the Silence Your Phones podcast stream. Is it called the stream? Maybe it's called the stream. It sounds kind of dirty. Anyway, welcome to this new series. It is myself, Chris Chavez, one half of the Silence Your Phones crew, and we're doing a new show I'm doing a new show with my buddy Trev Allen of the Struggling Artist Podcast. Trev, what's up, dude?
What's up, man?
You and I have been talking for a little while now. You know, we talk about movies, we talk about music, we podcast together sometimes. And you threw this thing at me saying we should talk about movies once in a while. And I said, why don't you jump on this thing and we'll do this? We'll have a sub-series. I have a bunch of different sub-series on this stream. So let's do one. And so we're going to do this one, and it's going to be called Staff Recommendations. And the idea behind it is, for one episode, you'll recommend a movie that I've never seen. We'll watch it. We'll talk about it. And then vice versa. I'll do the next one.
I'm excited.
So for this one, you picked the 2011 American action drama, Drive.
If I drive for you,
You give me a time and a place. I give you a 5-minute window.
anything happens in that 5 minutes and I'm yours, no matter what. I don't sit in while you're running it down. I don't carry a gun. I drive.
So you just moved to LA?
No, I've been here for a while.
What do?
I drive for movies.
Is that dangerous?
It's only part-time.
You put this kid behind the wheel. There's nothing he can't do.
Kid, I want you to meet Mr. Bernie Rose.
My hands are a little dirty.
So am I.
My husband's coming home.
Where is he?
He's in prison.
There's some guys that want me to do a job for them, and I'm not gonna do it.
What is that you got there? One of those men gave you that? What's the job?
When you get your money, his debt's paid. You never go near his family again.
Did you have any idea there'd be a second car?
He said there would be another car to hold us up.
Whose money do I have?
I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody finds out, we're both dead. That's why this driver's gotta go, Bernie. He's gotta go.
Do you remember this?
No.
Any dreams you have or plans for your future, I think you're gonna have to put that on hold. For the rest of your life, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder.
Okay, so we're going to kind of do this slightly, somewhat like Silence Your Phones. We are going to talk about the different aspects of the film. So the first thing we normally do is talk about our experience with the movie. Obviously, I've never seen it, but you have. What's your experience? Like, did you see this in the theater when it came out, or was it a DVD movie? Or
Yeah, so I got it in it was 2011, right?
Yeah.
I got a text message from my friend Greg, and it said, "Hey, I need you to do something." I said, "What's up?" He's like, I need you to go watch the movie Drive in the theater." I said, "That one with Ryan Gosling?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, look, I'm not going to say anything else. I just need you to go watch it. And I looked at my my what is it, HVC, the phone,
Okay.
my Evo 4.
Yeah.
And I said, well, according to this smartphone, it's going to be playing in like 20 minutes. I'm going to go check it out. So I immediately drove.
Damn.
to the
Okay.
theater. Yeah. And I said, all right, let's do this. And like, I love going to the theater alone. It's
same, dude.
It's one of my joys. So I sat down and I said, all right, let's watch this fucking trashy film. So the movie starts and it ends, and my mind is absolutely blown. I didn't know what I just watched. I said, what did I just watch? Like, and I immediately went and watched the trailer because I remember seeing the trailer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like some Fast and Furious bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
And it was not anything like that.
Which is why I stayed away from it. I was like, I'm a little over these car chase movies and these fast heisty movies. I'm just kind of over it. I'm not, I had my fill. So it was like, when I saw that trailer, I was like, and it's Ryan Gosling. Not to take away from him, I hadn't really seen much with him, but all I knew was like, that's the dude from The Notebook, right?
That's the dude from The Notebook.
So I was like, I don't know that I'm going to watch that. So that's why I had not watched it. So you went back and watched the trailer.
And I was like, it's nothing like what the trailer shows you, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's cut together. I don't think Ren, the director, Nicholas Winding Ren, I don't think he made the trailer. I think that was like production distribution company.
Yeah, typically. I think when movies that's what happens. There's little companies that make trailers, and they'll send the footage to these companies, and they'll put them together. Yeah, dude, I didn't, like I said, I saw the trailer and was like, I'm not going to watch this. And when you were talking this up, I was like, really? I was like, all right, I respect your taste in music. Your sense of humor, a lot of the stuff we've talked about. We've even talked about certain movies, and I'm like, if you're telling me this is going to be good, I'll trust it. I'll give it a shot, right? Because I had the same thought, dude. When you told me it was one of your favorite movies, I'm like, the Ryan Gosling movie?
Yeah.
Like that movie, dude?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
So then I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into this, dude. So here's the plot, right? The plot is that there's this dude and he's a driver. He's a getaway driver, basically, by night. But by day, he's a stunt driver in Hollywood. He's in the movies. And he's an exceptional driver. Like, the dude knows how to handle a car, right? And he's meticulous about like his rules on what he does and when he accepts jobs. And at the very beginning of the film, that's what we're shown. We're given this kind of, I believe he's narrating it, right? And he's talking over it, and you hear him saying that this is what I do. You get this much time with me. Anything before is on you. Anything after is on you. No guns, something like that. He said something else, and he says, but when this happens, blah, blah, he gives his rules. So you're like, okay, this dude is on top of his shit. He's like one of these guys that he's not going to make a mistake. He's just thought of every single aspect to make sure, he's going to be safe and he has a life. So we get this opening thing where he's doing the getaway driving, and there's a cop chase. There's all kinds of stuff happening, but they get away
right away. This is
it's the opening of the film.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm not lost in what I thought this movie was going to be. This is going to be this kind of movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it slows down. All of a sudden, we start to kind of get into this guy's life. We see that he works in a mechanic shop. We see that we see part of his stunt drive, the Hollywood stuff on the set thing. We see him living alone in an apartment, very minimal with his stuff. It's not like his place is lavish. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
We see that there's this neighbor that he's kind of attracted to. What's her name? I forget her name. Carey Mulligan.
Yeah.
So we see her, so we start to get this guy's life, and it starts to kind of play out. And we see this little romance start with this neighbor, and she's got a son, and she alludes to the fact that the boyfriend's in prison. Well, he's coming out. So we see this relationship with this guy too. It's kind of weird. The guy doesn't trust Ryan Gosling's character. Meanwhile, we have other stuff going on in the background. We have first we are introduced to Nino and the other guy's character. What was his name?
Bernie
and Nino. Okay, this is Ron Perlman and Albert Brooks. We get introduced to them through Cranston's character. So the garage where Gosling works is owned by Bryan Cranston, this character, and you can tell this guy's got his heart's in the right place, but he fucks everything up, right? Like he's one of these guys that no matter what he does, he fucks shit up. You ever see the movie A Bronx Tale?
Yes.
Do you remember that scene when they're shooting craps, right? And then the one guy comes in who's bad luck, and they get pissed at him and they throw him in the bathroom. He's not even allowed to be in the room, right?
Yeah.
That's Bryan Cranston, dude. It's like no matter what, it's always the wrong move. The stupidest things. He's just making mistake after mistake. But he's kind of friends with these guys that are that they're no good, right? These are criminals. These are top dog criminals. And back to the guy coming back out of prison, back to the driver in his apartment building. We find out Oscar Isaac plays this guy that came out of prison.
Oh, so he plays Standard. Yeah.
Yeah. We see Ryan Gosling's character come across him having been beat up. And he says that he's beat up because these people want him to do one last job. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to risk going back to prison. But they're going to kill, they're going to come after them. They're going to come after the girl. They're going to come after the son. And so Gosling says, all right, I'm going to help you. So this is all super fast. I mean, obviously it's a lot of buildup, right? But I'm just kind of going through this plot. Next, Gosling meets with the guy that's basically trying to get this Oscar Isaac to work for him. He meets with him and says, listen, we're going to do this for you, but leave the kid and the girl out of it. They get set up with this girl to go help out on this heist. And basically the heist is to go in and rob money at a pawn shop. Mm-hmm. And they rob the money. So we watch them wait for a while. Finally, the girl comes running out. Oscar Isaac's character comes running out and he just gets shot. He gets shot and killed right there. And so Gosling's like peacing out. He takes off with this girl. They hit a hotel room and he realizes some shit's fucked up. Like this has been a setup. And so this is where we like start to see a difference in his character now. Now there's like, for this whole time, he's been meticulous. He's very well kept and put together and calculating. And even though he's doing things that, I mean, he's a criminal, right? You still like the guy because of how he acts with the kid, with the girlfriend. You see him as a person, but now you're going to see him as the other side, because now he's like beating the shit out of this woman he's like slapping her around. Remember, he's like choking her, telling her he's going to kill her.
The moment he puts on his driving gloves in that hotel room, the entire movie changes.
Jesus. And then we find out, there's people out to kill him, right? So these guys are coming after him. In a roundabout way, we find out that the money that was stolen was Nino's money. And Nino can't let this go because it's tied to the mob. Like this mob ties to this now. And if he lets this go, then Nino's dead. So this is, I mean, the movie just takes a shit from here, man. As a driver, like now he's like, because you're thinking it's going to be this kind of movie. And now it's like, man, there's like no happy ending to this. How are you going to end this happy? We see a lot of stuff go down. We see him try to give the money back. Nino says no. They go after Bryan Cranston's character and they kill him. They end up killing Cranston's character. Gosling's pissed now. He's like, all right, we're getting this over with. This is going to be done. He goes and kills Ron Perlman's character. Nino bites it in the ocean. Then he goes after Albert Brooks and he says, listen, you got to let the girl go. It's all done. We're going to call it quits here. We're done. And Albert Brooks says, they'll be fine. You don't have to worry about them, but for the rest of your life, you're going to have to look over your shoulder, right? They meet up at a restaurant so that they can give him the money. And out in the parking lot, he just takes a knife to the gut, dude. Albert Brooks puts a knife right in the driver's gut. Gosling knew it was coming and he was ready for it because he fights back too and ends up killing Albert Brooks. Then we see driver sitting in his car, literally just kind of dead-eyed, looking out into space forever. Then he blinks, starts up the car and takes off. And that's our movie. What a piece of crap. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to tell you my first, my first reaction on this movie when I finished it was the same as yours. I was just like, what did I just watch? And also, this is from 2011. That means 10 years have gone by without somebody telling me how good this movie is. And why is that? Like, that's a crime. Okay. What the fuck? How did I not know how good this movie was? We're going to jump into a lot of this stuff top to bottom, the way we do on the other show. So let's get right into that plot. The plot itself is so intricate. And I thought it was just going to be an initial, like, okay, cool. It's going to be this. He's got to do this and boom. Right. But when you're getting all of these different things throughout the movie, like there's subplots happening, like the way he, you know, the relationship with the girl. And it's like you're watching him really try to be this, like, I don't want to do that anymore. I like this. I want to do this now. You know, I kind of like, you know, I want to be the family man. You know, he's kind of fatherly with the kid. They're sitting there watching TV and they're talking about sharks and stuff. The kid says something about the sharks being bad all the time, or they're the villains. And, Gosling's like, well, how can you tell? And he's like, well, look at him. He's a shark. And he goes, well, can't there be good sharks? Right. And you know what he's saying? He's basically kind of saying, he's like, I know I'm a criminal, but I'm good though. Right. Like I can be good. Right. It's possible. Right. And that kid's like, nope, it's not. And you watch Ryan Gosling's face change then. Like he literally, his face changes where he's just like, fuck, like this kid's right. Like the wisdom of children right from the mouth of babes. So yeah, we have that. We have the plot where, you know, this thing where you thought it was just going to be, okay, he's got to help this guy do this. It ends up being this crazy thing where now it's Nino's money. And it's one of these movies where you can't help but feel kind of anxiety because it's all just unraveling and you're like, fuck, what the hell? You know what I mean?
The tension building, and not just this film, but like all of his movies is so intense. It puts you in the seat of the driver in some points.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I noticed that there was a lot of time where we were in the car the entire time and not like pulling out and seeing like shots of the cars racing around and stuff. You were just staying in the car. And I love that. I love that you were in the car a lot.
This film though, like, yeah, it's, I mean, like I said before, when he's in that hotel room and he puts his glove on it and smacks that girl across the mouth because she's lying to him about the killers, the whole movie changes. Yeah. And now you have this, like, you have a different character from him. And I think that's why the film progresses the way it does. Because now again, this film is basically from his perspective.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's a lot of shots where, you know, when they're driving and it's him, Irene, and I forgot the child's name.
Yeah, the kid. I just call him the kid.
But like, there's a lot of shots where it's from the driver point of view. You're looking at her, you're looking at the kid, you're looking at the road. You know, there's not an entire lot of like in those kind of moments shots
Benicio.
Of him. Yeah. Yes.
Benicio. Yeah, dude. That's one of the things too that's happening in this movie, right? Not just the whole idea of the money thing and the mob and just the ties with, not just that, but what we're seeing is a character who has been doing this, right? This is what he does. And when he sees that glimmer of hope that this could be my way out, the door starts to shut slightly when Oscar Isaac's character comes back, right? Then it's like, oh, okay, maybe I can't have that. He ends up dying, which is fucked up. And he's just really trying to plead with this girl, like saying, listen, you know, you're my last hope. You're the only thing that I have, basically, right? And she's not going to have it. It's as far as she's concerned, he's one of the reasons that this guy's dead now.
Yeah.
So that's, for me, that's where you see this character who's been just aching to be a good person, aching to be the good guy, the hero, right? That's the song that's playing nonstop throughout this movie, the hero song. He's just aching for it, dude. And then when that last glimmer is just faded out, it's like, now I'm in the dark and I have no more matches. So let me be dark, right? And that's why when we see him switch, it's because now it's like he's doing everything he can to protect the girl and the boy, but it's also knowing that I'm not going back to that. I don't have that avenue. So fuck it. I'm bringing this out now to darkness.
Exactly. That scene in the elevator.
Ooh. Bro, and that was that moment too. That moment is amazing. When so he's like,
he's trying to say, hey, you know, like I'm me, I'm this, you know, we can do this. And she just like, nah, man, like I can't, like, no. you're not who I thought you were. And it's almost like I'm going to show you who I am then. And because the look,
but right before
is this a spoiler-free podcast, or is this?
No, we're spoiling the hell out of it. People know what they're
it's like
getting
10
in these
years
movies.
old.
We
right?
talk about them, yeah. But real quick, before you get into that part, right before it happens, though, when he notices, because that hitman's there to get them, right?
Yeah.
He makes that decision right then and there. Like, okay, there's no going back. I'm dark. And this is it, right? Like I'm already knowing that I'm not going to get it.
Right.
I'm going to make sure it's never going to happen. But before I do, I want you to remember that what we had. And he gives her this kiss. And it's just like, I've never in my entire life, dude, felt anxiety watching two people kissing on screen. And I was like my palms are sweating, my heart's racing because I know what's happening in that, and they're just kissing. And I'm like, motherfucker, hurry up. Gets it. Like, I got to release this. I'm freaking out here, dude.
Yeah. And I think part of him also knows in order to keep them safe, he needs to be that
dark.
He needs to not. So in a way, he wants to scare her off for good. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there was like, I'm saying goodbye to you now because you're mad and you made this decision. I have to make it final because it's the only way I'm going to keep you safe.
Yeah. Because he knows he's accepting of the fact that he's the shark and he's not going to change and he's not going to be the good guy. And so, yeah, dude, this movie was just something else, something else,
Yeah.
But yeah, we see that. And then we see just the viciousness at which he goes at it. And we kind of got an idea of it earlier too, when he's sitting at the diner and the guy comes up to him and he's like, hey, remember we did this job? And he says something about kicking his teeth and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
He just like,
so it makes me feel like this dude's had some dark sides before.
He's calm, that he's not like aggressive. Like he's not peacocking. Okay. And I'm gonna, there's a big like metaphor in this film, like for the difference between like being the real thing and peacocking. Right.
Yeah.
Cause you have like Bryan Cranston is peacocking. Like he wants to be this like fast talking kind of, jive ass turkey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he wants to be in with these guys so bad, he makes these fucking mistakes. And then you've got Nino, right? The brawn, he peacocks. He has to puff out his chest when he walks around. He has, do you know who I am kind of guy.
But when the mob's on his ass, then he's scared, dude.
Right. Yeah, you see how he really is, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got Oscar Isaac's character, Standard, who's not so like he doesn't kind of like flex his stuff of what he's got out there that much, but obviously he did at one point because he was in prison, right? So he's now that he's out of prison, I think his is like a reformed almost like I'm not as bad as I thought I was kind of thing. Because what did he do while he was locked up? He had to pay for protection. You know what I'm saying? So that there's that. And then now you've got really, I mean, if you want to look at it, I guess from like an alpha kind of standpoint, you have Driver and you have Bernie. You have this old school.
Yeah.
Albert Brooks's character is this old school dude who wants to talk business all the time. He wants to be professional all the time. When he gets violent, it's a lot like Ryan Gosling's character in the sense where it comes out of nowhere, and when it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
When he kills Bryan Cranston, for instance, he just like real quick, boom, slices this dude's wrists all the way down to the nerves.
Fuck.
And then he just sits there with him. He's like, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because they were not just business partners, but friends at some point, right? There was that tie that they had. So that's what I like too, is that he felt, it wasn't like he was just like, there's that scene of him afterwards, just kind of sitting there, just kind of sad. He has the drink, I don't know. Did he have a cigar there or something? I can't remember, but he's just sitting there kind of not really in the dark. It was kind of in the dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Calculated. Like these are the guys that aren't peacocking, but they back it up. They're
him and Gosling are the sharks. Like they're the real sharks. Like,
legit. But yeah, dude, there was a lot going on in this plot. For me, I just thought it was great. I have to say, when I first started watching it, super intense. I was already into it, how intense it was. I was like, I like the way this is done, right? You don't see anything that's happening. We're literally sitting in the car with him and we're waiting and we have to wait because that's the thing, right? Listening to the game. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. And then the fact that he uses the game time, the timing of the game for when it's being let out, dude, he knew everything he was doing, ready to do it. Because he had the hat and everything. He was ready to go. After all that happens, I'm watching this, and then, like I told you, it slows down. And I have to be honest, at first, I was like, dude, this is kind of slow right now. But I snapped too. I don't know what it was, but there was something that brought me back in, and I was back into it. And I was into it where I was just like appreciating everything about this film, the way it looked, the acting, the music. And again, we're going to get right into all that stuff here. So let's get into the actors and the acting, dude. Right away, we've got Ryan Gosling's the star, but we're not going to talk about him yet. Let's start with Carey Mulligan. I had not seen her before, except for, and I didn't realize it was the same one. Did you ever see Promising Young Woman?
I don't think so.
Jesus Christ, that just came out a couple years ago. What a fucking powerful film. Crazy.
Yeah. Dude. I gotta look her. I can't really. I know I've seen her and stuff.
When I saw that movie, I just couldn't believe it. Like the end of the movie is some of the most uncomfortable. It's crazy good. She did such a good job in it. But when I saw her in this, I was like, oh, it's her. You know what I mean? But yeah, she's been in a few different things, right? I mean, I'm seeing. Hold on a second. Did you know she's a singer?
No, I didn't.
Apparently, she has a discography.
Really?
She did a song with Justin Timberlake. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah.
No, but she's awesome, dude. I thought she did a good job in this role as that character.
You know who I thought she was at first?
Who's that?
You ever seen Suicide Kings?
Maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, I thought I always thought she was in that, but she wasn't. What I know her from is probably Public Enemies, which isn't a great movie at all.
Oh, you're talking about Laura Harris in Suicide Kings? Yeah, I could see why they look the same. Yeah. Yeah, but so Carey Mulligan plays Irene Gabriel, the girl next door. I thought, again, like I said, I thought she did a great job in the role. She fit what she was supposed to in that role. There was a moment when was it her husband or just a boyfriend? Standard. Is that her husband or boyfriend?
Yeah, I don't know. Husband, maybe. It was definitely the Benicio's dad.
Yeah. When he's back and they're kind of having a party, there's the music that's playing, right? And we keep cutting back and forth to Gosling and his thing working on the engine, and then back to her. There's this moment where she just she does it very slightly, but her face does this thing where you could tell it's like she's just kind of zoning out and thinking about him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's doing the same thing. Like we cut back and we see that as well. When it's time for her to be upset, when she's pissed at him and all that, great performance. And then the terror on her face, like the absolute terror on her face in the elevator, great performance. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
There's that moment, dude, when that whole elevator scene happened right after it, and she was standing there and they're just kind of staring at each other. I was waiting for somebody to come and snatch her, like somebody was going to come and grab her. You know what I mean? And I was just waiting. And I was on the edge of my seat, dude. I was like, this director's phenomenal. I'll tell you that right now. I got to check out his other stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, Bryan Cranston, can he do anything wrong? Honestly,
no.
I feel like this dude's such a good actor, and all the characters, they're never the same kind of character.
Never.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now he is spot on.
So he plays Shannon. That's the guy who owns the garage.
Yep.
He kind of mentors. I don't know if you'd say mentor. He took in the driver and gave him the job and did that kind of thing. Provides him cars.
Got him into the movie. Gets him the cars he needs for his getaway stuff.
But again, the fuck up. He can't help but no matter what he touches, he screws up no matter what. Even though he's trying to do good. Like he's like, I was just doing that because there's the scene where Gosling's like, well, they knew to come after us. How would they know that, right? Like, how would they even know about the girl and the boy? And so he confronts Shannon, and Shannon's like, I was just trying to tell them that, just let them go. Blah. He's like, no, you're such a. And for a second, I thought he was going to go nuts on him too. I was like, oh shit, he's going to beat his ass, but he doesn't. He stops himself. He composes himself. Just tells him to get out of town, which he doesn't.
Right.
But he's trying to. He was trying to, but he just didn't in time.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac, dude. So I just remember what the first time I ever saw Oscar Isaac, I think, was in the Star Wars movie as that.
Really?
Yeah. Because I don't know, like maybe I saw him in other stuff before that, but never really paid attention to him.
I think this was my introduction to him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I'm looking at all of his stuff. Yeah, I've not seen any of this stuff. Born Legacy, I saw that maybe back in the day.
Oh, he didn't have a huge role in that. That's the one with
Yeah, dude, it wasn't until Star Wars that I saw this guy as anybody. Yeah. So when I saw him he was in the film, I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, and I was waiting for him to show up at some point, and then he shows up and he totally looked a little different. Like, I don't know. Did they put like
he was young,
like teeth prosthetics on him or something?
No,
there was something different with his mouth.
I just think that, I mean, this was just a decade ago. And this wasn't like, so this was like Ren's, I don't want to say breakout movie, but like probably like his biggest blockbuster, so to speak.
Okay.
So like Isaac was still probably pretty green in 2011. I don't really know, you know, I would have to look at his filmography to know exactly like where he kind of popped in, but this was definitely before he blew up.
Yeah, he had a lot of other movies, but there weren't any movies that were big name movies or anything.
Like I said, this is the first time I seen him, and like he stood out to me. You know?
He did great, dude. He did such a great job in this role. You could see just in the looks he was given when he looked from his wife / girlfriend to driver back and forth, that he was just putting the dots together. Like, so you're taking care of my family. I appreciate that, right? Like, but you knew that there was this edge to him where it was like, he was.
Well, again, he kind of was like peacocking to Gosling's character, you know what I mean? But in a subtle way.
Until he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, and then even then he was just like, "Oh, you're gonna help me? Like, what you gonna do, white boy? You know what I mean?"
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right, exactly. But they end up working together. But yeah, I thought he did it well. He played that character well. It was a good character, standout. Ron Perlman, Nino. Yeah,
funny concept, kind of. You know what I mean? Like
Perlman. I mean, aside from Hellboy, like you see Perlman here and there. I liked the way he played this character. Like you said, the peacocking thing happens big time here, because there's this moment where you feel there was, for a while there, it felt like he was the one who was the leader between him and Albert Brooks.
Right.
Until towards the end, when Albert Brooks realizes that he's got to kill his own friend now to clean up, Nino's mess. Yeah. He gets so fucking pissed off that he kills Nino's guy and then tells him, now you got to clean up my mess, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Nino's character is very like, so, and he kind of explains his character in there, right? When he's talking about like, why wouldn't I steal from these Italians? Like they still pinch my cheeks like I'm a little fucking kid. Like, I'm never gonna be in because I think, was he half Jewish?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they were never going to accept him because of that. So, you know what I mean? So like that, he basically explains his whole reasoning for him being in existence, but at the same time, he plays this tough guy role, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the moment shit gets tough, it doesn't work out well for him.
Yeah, no, because then we see him crawling away, not standing up to this guy that just literally ran him off the road. He's crawling away and he's scared.
Such an intense scene, like,
oof.
And you almost feel like that fear, like I'm sorry, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He did a great job too, dude. I thought Perlman was really good in this role.
Oh, this cast is fucking A-list. Like,
seriously.
Albert Brooks, come on. Like,
okay, Albert Brooks as Bernie Rose. Like I said, initially I thought he was the side, like the wingman to Perlman's character, because when we first meet the two, Perlman's very brash, very loud, and very intimidating, right? And he's telling Albert Brooks, like, do this, blah, blah, blah. But again, when he comes back later and we see Brooks is like, I bought a race car. I'm doing this. I'm trying to be legit with this. Like you said, the business thing, right? He tries to talk to the driver. Driver doesn't want to have anything of it. But like you could see, Brooks was playing this character as like which we find out later that that's how he is. He's more calculating. He's more reserved. He's finding out everything he needs to know before he's going to make a move.
Right.
And then later we find out, oh no, this is the guy you don't fuck with. He's the shark.
Yeah.
What a great exchange between him and Gosling at the restaurant at the end.
I think
back and forth.
Every time.
Oh yeah, actually you're right. Every time.
The whole he puts his hand out and Gosling's like, "Oh, my hands are dirty." He says, "So are mine." Like, you know.
Yeah, and you know exactly what he means. You know what I mean? So much good between those guys. Did you notice that he shaved his eyebrows?
No.
Albert Brooks's characters has no eyebrows.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's I was looking up some stuff about it, and I think I saw that he said something along the lines of he chose to do that because he wanted to be able to seem like this guy had no emotion, like expressionless at times. You know what I mean? You weren't supposed to read him as easy.
Right.
And it worked, dude. Man,
that's what I'm saying. Like, same thing with Driver. Like those two characters were very complex.
Let's talk about Ryan Gosling, dude. Driver. We don't get a name, just the driver.
Just Driver. Yep.
Kid or the driver, because they'd call him the kid too. Or friend, right? Like, this is my friend. This is the guy that was staying, you know, nobody ever said names. Ryan Gosling, unfortunately for him, because he's that good looking Hollywood dude, right? It's almost like you brush him off as like, oh, he's only there to be the looks of the movie, right?
Yeah.
I never in my life would have looked at Ryan Gosling as a tough guy before this movie. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me see what else he did before this movie, because I'm just trying to think, was there anything that he impressed on me before that? Remember the Titans? I don't even remember him in that. The Notebook, definitely didn't see that one.
He wasn't tough in that one.
Blue Valentine, I remember seeing that. That was a good movie. And then Drive, then he did this, right? I mean, even after that, like I've never really watched anything with Ryan Gosling in it. So this was my first movie with Ryan Gosling. And I'm like, holy shit, I want to watch some of his other stuff.
He was Hercules in Young Hercules, the TV show.
Oh, never saw that.
No.
He was in the Mickey Mouse Club. He was also on Are You Afraid of the Dark back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
As a kid. Okay. But yeah, dude, so watching this movie, I've become a fan of this dude. Because if you can play a character where minimal dialogue throughout the film, and when you do deliver it, it's all kind of even keeled and, like I said, calculated, you know, and then everything he does is very kind of minimal. He does so much with his face and expressions of his face that it just portrays so much emotion. It conveys, you know, you already know what's going on in his mind just with different things that he's doing in his face. Like I said, in that scene with the shark conversation, like he's watching this and he's having it, like he's just staring straight at the screen and he's talking to the kid. And it's not like he's got very little emotion until that kid says that, no, a shark's going to be a shark. Like, no matter what, it's the villain. You see his face change. And it's like that realization.
Yeah.
There's the moments, you know, when he's covered in blood, kind of like looking around the corner and the dude's dead in that hotel room. Like, he just ended up killing everyone in that hotel room. And it's like, you can see in his face, he's just like, fuck, like, this is really where my life is now. Like, I'm fucking shooting people dead in hotel rooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know, man. I don't know what to say. This dude was just phenomenal in this role.
So this movie made me go back and find more Ryan Gosling things.
So you watched The Notebook?
Actually, I've seen parts of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I don't remember it, but he did a movie in like 2001 called, I think it's called like The Believer or Believer.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like an anti-Semitic Jewish kid, like totally into like neo-Nazi culture.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a pretty wild film.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then like he ended up I remember him in what was it? Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't remember him in that.
He was just this dorky kid, like this dorky football player, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I went back for a lot. Like I said, I went back because I was like, no one gets away with a performance like this and not earn my, like, I need to go back and see more, you know?
Right.
Movies he's done since I find really good. You know, probably my favorite is what is it? The Nice Guys.
Okay.
Him and Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah. Oh, I'm looking at I've never seen this. I'm looking at the poster now.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. He's just like, after this movie, like I had to look at him in a different light. Did you
see the new Blade Runner with him?
I haven't seen it. No,
me neither. I'm going to have to check it out and see, because now I want to see it even
now.
More.
He actually went on to direct a film. Oh boy, what's it called? The Lost River, maybe.
Okay.
And it's very much in the same vein as like that awkwardness that this movie Drive gives off.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I'm going to say about the acting in this film, I come from a very old school like writing film where it's less dialogue, more action driven as far as like interactions and you know the acting.
Yeah.
This was textbook that. You knew what was going on in this movie without talking.
Amazing.
By expressions on faces, by, you know what I'm saying? By movements.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who could have done that like Ryan Gosling did.
Dude.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I finished this movie just being like, I can't believe this dude's performance just with his face and so many close-ups.
Old school approach to filmmaking. And like, you can throw like, I mean, it goes back to, there's a book called The Screenwriter's Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That book's been thrown out the window because you don't need to follow any kind of format other than like the typical like when to, you know, setup of like a template for a script. You don't really need to follow anything else anymore. But this, like I said, this film brought it back to what film was supposed to be and how you make a film perfect. You know, and the acting, like I said, I don't know, you know, the between him and Irene, Driver and Irene, like everything there, the buildups, the everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you felt every single emotion that they're trying to convey in this film.
Yep. All the way to that, just that helplessness at the end, that feeling of like, no matter what I'm going to ever say or do, this is not going to be good. Like, we're not going to be together. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, I feel like that's a human thing. Like a lot of people have been in relationships where they know it's just not going to work anymore. And so there's this hopeless feeling of just this like, okay, well, fuck it. And dude, oh man, this movie acting is something else, man. Yeah. Let's move on to the next big character in this movie, the soundtrack.
Full disclosure,
music, dude.
Full disclosure. When the first time I listened to Silence Yourself, is it Silence
Your Phones.
Silence Your Phones. I immediately texted you and asked you if you'd seen this movie.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
No.
Your guys' music.
Oh, I see.
Spot on. Spot on. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I loved this. I mean, I already love this style of music, but the score was just so. Cliff Martinez does the score for this film, and then we have a few songs that are actual songs by artists. There's a song called "Night Call" by Kavinsky, featuring Love Fox. "Under Your Spell" by Desire, "A Real Hero," the song that plays. It's basically like the theme of the film. It's by College featuring Electric Youth, and then "Oh My Love" by Ritz Ortolani. Oh, and the Chromatics, Tick of the Clock, which that's at the very beginning of the film.
You ever listen? When I had a car, I had a Charger like with a Hemi in it for a rental, and I put that song on and I just wanted to fucking just fly. Like, that song will pump you up without even knowing it.
It's so adrenaline. Good. I love that, dude. I'm a fan of synth, the synth pop and that kind of For a while there, they were calling it like synthwave, like this new kind of the bringing that sound back, and this kind of thing, like the music that you would hear in Drive. You know what I mean? Huge fan of it, and it fits this movie. Like I said, it's like another character in the film, because I don't think, as gorgeous as this movie is and everything is, it would be a different film if it had a different soundtrack.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? If it had just like if they had Quentin Tarantino come in and throw together one of his soundtracks that's got like a 50s song and a 90s song and this and that, you know what I mean? It would have been a totally different movie. But this it fits not just the idea of the film, the theme with the driving, not just that, but it fits just what you're seeing visually. Like you hear that, and it makes sense to see in the colors on screen, because that's the other thing, dude. The color palette used in this film, and we'll get into that on the effects side of it. But
gorgeous!
But this music was just like, do they have this on vinyl? This soundtrack?
I have it on vinyl.
Oh, I gotta get this. I've got to buy this. I am buying this.
Amazing.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Oh my! You know what I'm doing when I get off here, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it immediately.
Yeah.
It's going to be out of print. It's going to be like $500 for a.
Have you heard of mondotees.com?
Yeah. I have some albums from them.
So they put out one of this, and I think you can't find it through them anymore, but I'm pretty sure you can find it for like $300 on eBay.
Oh my god.
It's and I want it so bad,
dude. There's a vinyl I want to get so bad, and it's out of print. You can't get it anywhere, and like Discogs has it, but everyone's selling it from anywhere between $150 to almost $300.
Yeah,
and I might pull the trigger one day because I want that album, but it's tough, dude. I don't know.
This soundtrack, this score, probably, if without really thinking about it, it's in my top 10 for sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
dude, this is a great score, great soundtrack. Like I said, it's another character in the film. It's perfect, perfectly scored, curated.
I sent this to you, didn't I?
You sent me somebody from this.
Maybe
was it Chromatics? Did you send me the Chromatics, or was it Love Fox?
It was probably. I thought I sent the whole soundtrack to you, but if I didn't, it was
may have.
It was probably college. The college youth or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I dug it though, man. I'm gonna buy this on vinyl if I can. If I'm able to, I got to get this. Let's get into special effects. This movie's not much in special effects in terms of like computer graphics, like, computer generated effects. We're not seeing much of that. A lot of this is practical. We've got blood, we've got the car chases, any kind of explosions,
what about that head
flips.
stomp?
Yeah, they didn't really show it, right? They show just from the view looking up with the blood splattering up, right?
No, they had a little bit of it, and it reminded wow, what's that, his name, the director who did like Bone Tomahawk and like Dragged Across Concrete, like it's very in that vein. Brawl in Cell Block 99, like it's very it's very that kind of practical. Like you're looking at like if you're stomping on a pumpkin, that's what you're looking at with this guy's face.
Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Again, and it's the only really gory part of this film.
True. Well, except for the slicing of the arm, like that's kind of that had to be computer generated. That had to be some computer work.
I don't know. That was dope.
I have to go back and look at it again. But if that was all practical, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm a huge fan of practical. You know what I mean? I really am. If you can pull something off and make it look good in real life,
especially
without
if you come from the school of 80s horror, like you want practical.
Exactly, dude. But everything we see in this film that is effects, special effects or sound effects, it's done so well. There's nothing in it that takes me out of the film, that makes me feel like this is too much. This looked fake. This isn't how this would go, because sometimes I do that and it pulls me out of a film, pulls me out of a story if it's not executed well. Like I said, man, this movie's really done well. But the big thing about this film too is the way it looks, the coloring. Dude, the actual color palette used for this movie is just so gorgeous. The whatever camera lenses he used, whatever cameras he used, this is one of the most gorgeous films I've seen in a long time. Seriously, beautiful. Love the lighting in this movie. Love it.
And it's 10 years old. Think about that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I just just starting to mess around with the film and cameras and stuff, and I found this thing about that's what they do. They have these programs that give you color palettes to use to overlay on your films to give your films different looks. I think I talked about it with Jim one time when we were talking about Rob Zombie. Like Rob Zombie likes to use like certain types of color palettes in almost all his films. You'll see all of them have the same color and quality to it. You know what I mean? And so this one has this kind of, it fits the music. It fits the feel. It's a very like 80s-ish. I don't want to say neon because it's not neon, but it's got those 80s hues to it. Like there's deep golds, there's pinks, there's the the pink and blue. When you have the pink and blue contrasting together, that's 80s. That's straight 80s, right?
Wait until you get into more of his films. You're gonna
I am, dude. I am, man.
Yeah,
I'm huge into finding directors where they floor me with their films, because then it's like, okay, I got to see more of these people's films. And then when I hear there's a new movie coming out and I just know it's this director, now I got to go see it, So yeah, I can't wait to check out some of his other stuff. This film looks beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah, gorgeous film. Gorgeous film.
What else can you say? It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. Everything about it, like you said, the color palette is just. I mean, when he's in like the hotel room looking out the window, like everything fits so perfect to what the aesthetic of this film. It's very well. There's a part for the director, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
okay.
We can talk about that next. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I have so much to say about the guy. So
yeah, well, let's get right into it. Let's actually just get into so basically we'll end it with our final thoughts and our how you would rate the film on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah.
And then what I also think we'll do is, since this is staff recommendations and I was the one that had to watch it, I'm going to either say I agree or disagree. I guess it's I wonder what Chris is going to say, to keep it on the staff recommendation shelf. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, I'll let you go first, dude. Give us your final thoughts and what you rate it, even though I'm sure I know what you're going to rate it.
All right, so are we going to go into
being with
should we go
the director,
into the director,
all that stuff?
Right,
yeah.
Cool. All right. So Nicholas Winding Refn, he paints these pictures, so to speak. And it reminds me of Walter Hill films.
Walter Hill, what does he do?
The Warriors.
Okay, yeah.
Streets of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Like he paints these worlds and like it's just like the sky's the limit for him, really. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, in some of these films, like, yeah, that's not a real world. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you can totally see it being that as well. Ren's his films, like, I mean, so a lot of his earlier stuff is Danish, I believe.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend anybody. The Pusher series, phenomenal. I think they remade it.
Really?
With like an American version, at least 1 or 2. So and it's got the gentleman's name is Mads
Mikkelsen.
Yes, Mads Mikkelsen is in the Pusher series. And then Mads Mikkelsen went on to do Valhalla Rising with Ren, and that so that was my first movie I ever seen by Ren, and I didn't quite get it. When I watched Drive, I went back and watched it, and there's so many similarities between the two. It's insane.
Really?
Yeah, just like the silences and the stuff. And then as you go on, you'll start to see, like, as you go through his filmography, you're going to see a lot of similarities. He is really good at awkward pauses. He's really good at showing, a story through emotions of the actors. His most, like, Bronson. Have you seen Bronson with Tom Hardy?
No. I've seen the
Oh.
poster. I've seen it before. So I've
Christ,
seen this before.
That is a movie that is so awkward.
Yeah.
And so and so like intense, and it does everything that this movie does as far as building that suspense, building that anxiety.
Okay.
Much like, I mean, the movie The Warriors, they build. That's why I compare it to Walter Hill films. Like they build this anxiety throughout that entire movie because they're running their lives.
Yeah.
His filmography goes on. His stuff is weird. And it's not always received well because of that.
I want to check it out. I see that he did a movie with one of my favorite actors, John Turturro, Fear X, and it's a psychological thriller. So that sounds like something I might want to check out.
You know what? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. Yeah.
So anyway,
This
your
guy's
thoughts on this? Your final thoughts on it?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
The movie Drive is perfect. It's if anyone was like, oh, what kind of movies are you in? Like, my pretentious ass is just saying, go watch Drive. You know what I mean? It would be, to write something half as good or to make a film half as good would be like a win for me.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And when I tell people like again, this movie, like it came, this movie had a lawsuit against it. Okay. This lady tried to sue the company because it was the trailer was misleading. Right? Yeah.
Is she a Karen, dude? She's like calling 911 from the theater.
Absolutely.
I want the police here.
Yeah. And out of all of the director's films, this one is probably the most mainstream and is probably the most best reception, probably the biggest like action, if you want to call it that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I always tell people is whenever you watch anything from him, you're going to get a killer soundtrack. You're going to get awesome writing and fantastic colors and directing.
Oh, I can't wait to jump into more.
So,
Seriously.
This movie, my favorite movie of all time was The Way of the Gun from the year 2000.
I remember that movie.
Or 1999 or whenever it came out, till I watched Drive. Drive so it had a good 10-11 year run, and now it's Drive is my favorite film. I just think it's perfection for filmmaking.
So I'm assuming you're giving this one 5 of 5.
You know what? I hate to be like my first time on here throwing a 5 of 5.
Gotta.
Yeah, I mean, this.
If you didn't, you'd be lying.
Right? Yeah. This is a definitely like. I'm not like someone who claims like movies are perfect all the time. This is a 5 out of 5 film.
Wow.
Yeah.
For me, dude, my favorite movie of all time is The Godfather. It just is. For me, actually, the way I saw The Godfather, I saw 1 and 2 together in chronological order. So that's how my dad showed it to me the first time. It's called The Godfather Saga. So that's how I watched it. And I never so for me, that's perfect, right? That's perfect film, storytelling, acting, everything, music, perfection in film. Anytime I look at making movies, I always said to myself, that's the movie you look at to say that's a perfect film. Now, I've seen a lot of movies come out since that reach that height now, right? I'm seeing these directors and these movie makers that, I mean, they're just kind of saying we're tired of all this other garbage that everybody's doing, and let's make films the way films used to be made. Let's make films. Mm-hmm. And I never thought there would be anything that would actually match, like get right on that level with Godfather, right? Like I said, there's been great stuff coming out and they're right up there, but you're right, man. I watched this movie and I don't think that there's anything in here where I could say, oh, this is dumb. This is stupid. This doesn't make sense. It's all done perfectly. I don't feel like there's any because like sometimes you have a lot going on and it's like, oh, they never tied this up or this didn't make sense to the plot. Not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
This package is insane, dude. And then again, visually stunning, music's amazing, the acting is just blows your mind. 5 out of 5 easily on this film. easily, man. This is something I would I'm going to be telling anybody who's not seen it, like, you need to watch this movie. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of those films, man. And I'm going to tell them, like, trust me, don't get into this because you're looking for Fast and the Furious. It's not what we're getting here. I'm going to try to get them, you know, I just want to let them know that. But man, I'm glad you said you wanted to do this one. I got to tell you, man, it's like this one of the most amazing films I've ever seen.
I just set the bar really high.
And there's so much too, dude. There's so much in this movie. Like I said, he's perfect and meticulous until that moment where he snaps. Then all of a sudden he's messy. Like his hair is all messy all the time. Like he's bloody. He doesn't care about it. You know, he's letting loose. I mean, there's the whole, like his jacket, dude, with the scorpion. And then at the end where he's talking about the scorpion, the fable with the scorpion and the frog. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like he knew that he was going to get stung, but he'd have to sting too. And, you know, let me ask you something. The end, is he dead or is he alive?
Ooh, I think he's dead.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Okay. Because one of the things I
see gut shot.
Yeah. Well, he could still stay alive though. Not, I mean, maybe drove himself to a hospital. Yeah. Because that's how I saw it. I saw him as being alive. And I liked that.
I think he was just driving until it was over.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's the best way, right? I think that's what his character would have done too. You're right. 100%.
Keeps the girl and the kids safe.
And he did whatever he needed to do.
Cuts all ties from everything else. No one, because the Italians didn't know
who he was.
Who it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, what a movie. What a movie. That's definitely staying on the staff recommendation shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, dude. That was fun. That was a good one. I'll have to figure out what movie I'm going to get you to watch, man, because I don't even know, dude. I feel like I've said stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen a lot of movies. I've seen a lot of. That doesn't mean I've seen them all.
I'll see if I can't think of one and throw it your way, and then we'll set up another episode here in the future.
Cool, man.
Awesome. All right, before we head out, dude, tell them where to find you on your other podcast.
You can just search the Struggling Artist Podcast. It's basically everywhere where you listen to podcasts. If you Google it, it will come up. If we're on the social medias, it's just basically a podcast where I talk to people who create, mostly musicians, and we just chop it up about life. We promote the stuff they got going on, but we do talk about life a lot.
Good stuff. Yeah. Great stuff. And then, as always, make sure to head over to the website, bicbp-radio.com. Check out a lot of the other shows on the network. Make sure to throw some support their way. And this was good times, dude. Until next time, for Trev Allen, this is Chris Chavez. We'll see you guys later. Hit the lights on your way out. Peace.